So what's going on, guys? My name is Mr. Untitled JD. Welcome back to the channel, and today we have an absolute mammoth of a ranking video. After seeing the success of my first video, I thought we'd take it one step further and really have a massive debate on ranking every single wonder weapon in Call of Duty Zombies from worst to best. Now, if you guys haven't counted, there's 47 wonder weapons in Call of Duty Zombies. This is by no means a quick video. This has taken absolutely forever to edit, to get all the footage together, and of course to sit down and list every single weapon and rank it from worst to best. So if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you click a massive thumbs up. We're trying to aim for 10,000 likes on this video. So if you enjoyed it and you want to see more videos like this and you have suggestions on other lists that you want to see, let me know down below in the comment section. But I'm going to take a deep breath as we get ready to list every zombies weapon in Call of Duty from worst to best. Okay, are you ready? Grab your popcorn, get comfy. It's going to be a long one. Let's get into it. Now, coming in at the worst wonder weapon that Call of Duty Zombies has ever seen, and this is no surprise, is the Thrusterdyne Aeronautics Model 23, or better known as the Jet Gun. Now, where on earth do we even begin with this travesty of a wonder weapon? Well, this gun appeared in transit. We've not seen it since, thank God. And it's a wonder weapon that is a buildable, so you've got to collect 4 parts around the map before you can build this thing, and it is just terrible. It works by sucking zombies towards it and then giving them in its rotors, and you can even kill zombies located behind the player with this thing. But the thing that makes this an absolute tragedy is that the weapon can break, and when it breaks, the parts are scattered all around the map, and if any parts fall into the lava, the part will return to its original place on the map where it was found. And if any parts are run over by the bus, it will disappear completely and will not return to the place it was originally found, and it cannot be found for the remainder of the game. Treyarch, how do you create a wonder weapon this diabolical? Easily one of the worst wonder weapons we've ever seen because the damage is pretty terrible. This thing can kill zombies at any round, but it has a few seconds for it to charge up before it can actually kill the zombies, and of course with that part of it blowing up, you have to be very careful on how you use it and making sure that you have it out afterwards to cool it down before using it again. I don't want to talk about this gun anymore because it's actually making me angry, but yeah, Jet Gun, worst gun ever. Now, the weapon that comes in as second worst, and only just slightly better than the Jet Gun, but not by much, is the Vlad, which we saw in Raygun the Redwoods. This is a harpoon gun, and it's pretty useless because all it is an explosive tipped crossbow. It's extremely weak, it's a single shot, and is basically pointless, at least when it comes to the Wrath of the Ancients in Eisendrache. It's sort of useful for the low rounds until about mid-10s before you swap it out or upgrade it. The Vlad is pretty useless from the get-go, and you have to have it upgraded to at least have some use of it, because otherwise it's just awful. The next one we have here is again from Raygun the Redwoods, and this is the Smiley. This is the first time we ever saw a chainsaw in Zombies, which we thought was going to be extremely cool, and when it was first implemented, this thing was broken as all hell. It was an unlimited chainsaw. You could literally rev the chainsaw and have it spinning forever and killing zombies until your fingers bled or your controller turned off or the game crashed or whatever. But then they patched it, and every time this kills a zombie, it loses ammo. So it has the same functionality as the one in the Darker Shore, which is very weird, where you can shoot these saw blades at the zombies, but it's pretty useless now, and I wouldn't recommend it, so that's why it's right down at the bottom. Now, the next weapon on our list is from arguably the worst zombies map ever created, Exo Zombies Infection or Burger Town, and this is the Magnetron. Coming in after this, but not by much, is the Forge Freeze from Zombies in Spaceland. I bet even you guys are watching will remember most of the weapons in Spaceland, but completely forget the Forge Freeze exists, and there's good reason for it. The Forge Freeze was a weapon that you could only get from the disco arcade area, and you had to buy it with 300 tickets, and this thing was pretty useless. Think of the Winter's Howl, make it bigger and downgrade it, and you have the Forge Freeze. What it does is you can freeze zombies with the right trigger, and then the left trigger acts as sort of like a shotgun of air, where it just charges the zombies back and essentially blow up the icicle that you created, but it's really useless. When you pack-a-punch it, it's not that much better. It's very impractical, terrible wonder weapon, I haven't used it in over a year. I doubt you guys have either. That's why it belongs on this section of the list. Alright, the next wonder weapon we're looking at is the Cel-3 Trident, which was seen in Exozombies Descent. This was a crossbow-like weapon that fires bolts, that bounces off walls and zombies multiple times, and it seemed like a really fun and creative wonder weapon at the time, but this thing is just pretty poor. It has infinite damage, so you'd assume that this thing would be really good, but it doesn't really have a lot of rounds, and it's just not very useful in the main grand scheme of things. It's just not a weapon that's viable that you'd use up until the late 20s, 25s, because it just doesn't really seem to kill much past maybe wave 20, so it's definitely one that I wouldn't use and very forgettable. Now, only slightly better than the Trident is the LZ52 Limbo, which was a directed energy wonder weapon that we saw in Exozombies Carrier. And the way that this works is it fires a small ball from the barrel of the gun where it proceeds to create a longer laser beam across the room like a limbo stick and slices the zombie corpses, and it's fairly creative and very funny to use at first. Now, this is only a one-hit kill to about round 12 when not upgraded, and after that it makes crawlers, and even when you upgrade this thing all the way up, it's still not a very good wonder weapon, and you're more than likely going to find yourself getting killed using this thing than it actually protecting you. I mean, there isn't really a lot of good wonder weapons in Exozombies. I say it's one of the most creative, but it just doesn't really function as well as you think it would. So coming up next in our list is the Wrath of the Ancients bow, which is of course in Der Eisendrache. This is a bow made of bone and a mysterious adhesive paired with explosive flame-tipped arrows, and as a weapon on its own, it's not too bad. It will serve you well until of course you can get one of those upgraded bows. It's not really a weapon you're going to be using for the entire game, but it's definitely not a useless weapon by any means, but you're not going to really use it for a long time. But for the basics of what it's used for, it's an effective wonder weapon, but it's definitely not up there. The next wonder weapon we have is the MAD, or the Modular Atomic Disintegrator, from Call of Duty Infinite Warfare's Attack of the Radioactive Thing. Now, this shoots extremely powerful atomic blasts at zombies, and of course you can get this from the magic wheel, and you can upgrade this with parts found around the map. Now, on its own, the MAD is pretty horrendous. It's practically unusable until you collect the crank, the grip, and the plunger part to actually make it into the Modular Atomic Disintegrator, but even still then, it's not very good, so much so that they had to patch it to actually make it a lot better. The only good thing about this wonder weapon is it can take out a large horde of zombies with one shot, and the good thing is that the ammo can be replenished by looking around the map for the green balls of goo and using them as ammo, but it's just not very practical. Coming up next on our list is the Tesla gun from Call of Duty World War II's The Final Reich. Now, this gun on its own is definitely not bad by any means. In the early rounds, it sort of acts a bit like a Wunderwaffe. It will stun the zombies if they're in a massive horde, they'll be electrocuted for a few seconds, and then they'll die. And this wonder weapon is pretty good when you're starting out, but in the mid-10s going into the 20s, this gun becomes practically useless and works pretty much as a stunning device rather than actually killing zombies. Now, the other redeeming qualities about the Tesla gun is it's absolutely free. You don't have to get this out the mystery box or anything like that. You simply craft it, and it's a fairly simple quest in order to get this thing, and it's pretty effective when you first get it, but of course later in the rounds it is not going to serve you very well at all, and you're going to have to get those upgrades in. And coming in just slightly better than the Tesla gun, in my opinion, for the practicality of using it in a later part of the game, is the Ripsaw from the Darkest Shore. Now, once you've upgraded this thing by, you know, getting the coil from the spine and adding that in, it's pretty effective, being able to shoot the discs everywhere, and also as a melee weapon, this thing is incredibly strong, and of course this can be put in the Pack-a-Punch machine as well, and it will make it a lot stronger with more ammo. It's still not a great wonder weapon and not really viable in my terms of what makes a wonder weapon great, but nevertheless, the Ripsaw is not bad, and that's why I put it above the Tesla gun. Alright, now we get into the final of the Exozombie wonder weapons, and I'm going to put the Cel-3 Cauterizer in here. Now, this thing is a semi-automatic shotgun that's found in Exozombies, is in quite a few maps, and is probably the iconic wonder weapon throughout the entire Exozombie saga. It's not great by any means, but it is still a very fun wonder weapon. There's something about it which I've always enjoyed the use of. It's got some great great sound effects as well. It genuinely looks like a cool shotgun. Of course, it's not very good when you compare it to most of Treyarch wonder weapons, but it's definitely the best wonder weapon in Exo Zombies by far, and if you disagree, then I'm gonna fight you. Alright, the next thing on the list is the Winter's Howl from Call of Duty Black Ops, and we saw this in the map 5, as well as in Verrückt on the remaster version on Black Ops 1. Now, the way that this gun works is pretty weird, and it's not very effective, so let's try and break this down. It fires a blizzard of ice that affects zombies, and after a predetermined amount of hits, a zombie begins to show signs of freezing, such as water vapor in the air and the zombie slowing down. The shot also causes some damage to the zombie, and if the zombie is hit again while slowed, it's stopped in its tracks and is cased in an ice cube. And from this point, the zombie can immediately be dead when it's frozen, or if it's left for a few seconds or walked into, the ice cube will shatter. Now, the Pack-a-Punch version, the Winter's Fury, isn't that much better besides it gaining 9 rounds per mag with 36 spare rounds, with a longer freeze time and more power. But in the later rounds, this thing is not a viable option because its effectiveness just isn't there. I always found the Winter's Howl to be a very weird wonder weapon, almost like the ugly duckling of wonder weapons. It just doesn't really suit it being in the class and category of other wonder weapons in Black Ops 1, but nevertheless, Winter's Howl, anyone like it? Let me know in the comments. Alright, this next bit is obviously not really going to trigger a lot of people, but of course people are going to have different opinions, and we're now going to be ranking these staffs on Origins in terms of the worst to the best. Now, this is just my opinion. Of course, your list might be slightly different. This is not talking about the upgraded ones. It's just talking about the normal ones that you build to start off with. And in my list, the order goes fire, lightning, wind, and ice. Now, this is across both the Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 version. I feel like the Staff of Fire, when it's just on its own, normal, non-upgraded, isn't very good. Of course, when it's upgraded, it's a completely different story here. But in terms of the Staff of Wind being the second best, it's almost like a mini thunder gun of sorts, and when you first build that, it's very useful. And the Staff of Ice, particularly in Black Ops 3, is so much better than it was in Black Ops 2, and it's just genuinely a great staff in my opinion. But if your order is different, let me know in the comments. Alright, coming in afterwards is the classic wonder weapon, the one that started everything off, and that is the Raygun. Now, over time, people have really started to dwindle less on the Raygun being an important weapon to always carry. When it was first introduced in Nacklet and Toten and in World at War, everyone loved the Raygun. As soon as you got the Raygun out the box, you knew that you were set in to go to high rounds. With the introduction of PhD Flopper in Black Ops 1, it made the Raygun a more viable option, but over time, the Raygun has just become a lot weaker in comparison to other wonder weapons, and it just doesn't really hold up well in today's zombie standards on a gun that you're going to want to rely on. It's still the absolute classic, but it's just not that good, and I'm sure most will agree with me here. Now we're going to be going into more elemental wonder weapons, but we're jumping into Rave in the Redwoods and looking at the upgraded crossbows. Now, my list of the worst crossbows to the best goes Trapomatic, Whirlwind EF5, Acid Rain, and Ben Franklin. Now, maybe it's just me, but the Trapomatic I've never gotten on with. I've never really seen the effectiveness of it in my games or anyone else using it, to be honest. And as much as the Whirlwind is pretty useful, it only seems to be able to attract about 5 or 6 zombies in that Whirlwind blast that it pushes backwards, so I don't find it particularly useful. But if you're ever getting cornered, the Acid Rain will save your life, as it will kill probably about 5 to 10 zombies if you're trapped in a corner. But for me, the Ben Franklin is the best because it's an instant, just if you're in a situation, you shoot it and bam, the zombies are dead. I love elemental lightning weapons, and the Ben Franklin is definitely the best crossbow out of all of them in Rave in the Redwoods. But again, if your selection is different, let me know down below in the comment section. But to me, the Ben Franklin is the best out of those. Alright, continuing down the list, and this is an interesting one because I was actually going to put this a little bit higher than we've actually left it at, but its usefulness and its effectiveness is also counterbalanced by just the impracticality of the weapon itself. And this is the VR11 in Call of the Dead, which I believe is one of the most underrated wonder weapons that we've ever seen in Call of Duty Zombies. Now, the main purpose of the VR11 is it turns zombies into humans, which the zombies are attracted to, and the zombies follow that human as it screams and runs into a pool of water. So in a way, it's a bit like a monkey bomb, but upgraded, this thing can again do that effect, but with a much stronger human. It can also calm George down and get rid of him completely, which is very useful. But its main effectiveness, which I feel is underrated for, is that it can grant someone an insta-kill, which is absolutely insane. If you have a teammate in a game with an upgraded VR11, if you shoot your teammate with that VR11, they have insta-kill and they're invincible for about 3 minutes. So it's very different for a wonder weapon to have this ability. Rather of it to be effective against zombies, it's actually effective against your own teammates. But no one ever really uses it for that feature, and if you're playing solo, then the gun is practically useless unless you're too lazy to get rid of George by using other stronger weapons and you just use it as a backup gun to just get rid of him. But the VR11 is an understated wonder weapon, but it's not the best, so that's why it's like slap bang in the middle of this list. Now coming in straight after this, and again same game, we're looking at the Jgb To15, also known as the baby gun. Now this thing is a ton of fun to use, and when it's non-upgraded and upgraded, this thing is a real machine. It's basically the only weapon you're gonna have to use in Shangri-La if you want to go for high rounds, especially on solo, and it's a great weapon. The only thing that has its downsides is that it does have the possibility of downing you if you aren't very experienced or coordinated with the timing of the zombies being the little babies then turning back into humans. It's still a chance that you could die from it, and when it gets to the really high rounds, there's chances where you're just not going to be very effective with this weapon, and it is a very weird one how you shoot zombies then you have to run into them in order to kill them. It's a hilarious weapon, but it's obviously not the best one, but still a fantastic wonder weapon and a real big classic. Coming in on the 25th spot, which is almost right slap bang in the middle now, there's like I told you 47 weapons and we're on the 25th one here, and this is the Scavenger from Call of the Dead. This is without a doubt the most powerful sniper rifle we've ever seen in zombies and probably ever will. This thing is an absolute machine and can take out entire hordes of zombies. Pair this with PhD Flopper and you've got yourself a real machine. The only thing that gives this sniper rifle a little bit of a negative edge is the fact that it takes about 5 seconds or so from your shot for it to blow up. So when it comes to saving yourself in a clutch moment, unless you can predict further in time what's going to happen, you're not going to be safe from getting cornered using this weapon. It's also not exactly the best weapon to use against George either, but it's still an amazing wonder weapon nevertheless, and it can be useful for taking out entire trains. It's going to take a little while for you to effectively get rid of all the zombies with it. Alright, coming up next after this is the KT4 from Zetsubou no Shima. Now don't get me wrong, we all have our gripes with the map, but the wonder weapon is actually probably one of the best wonder weapons, but it's just not the best. It's a carbon copy of another one which we're going to look at a little bit later, but the KT4 is still extremely strong. Now you don't need to hit the box to get this, it's a buildable wonder weapon and it releases a green liquid that makes spore bags grow on the zombies' bodies and makes them explode. It also makes the Thrasher's spore bags explode, making them easy to kill, and this is an insta-kill when used against spiders. You can also receive a short speed boost comparable to that of Ruin's Overdrive from multiplayer by shooting a spore and running through the puddle left by the KT4. Now what makes this weapon really effective is using it in a more lethal way by holding down the trigger to shoot a shot of liquid that will stay on the floor, and any enemy that goes over it will slip and die, just like the Liquefier from Die Rise. Overall, it's a really great wonder weapon, definitely effective for those high round strategies, but I just don't feel it's as great as the Liquefier in my opinion. We're now jumping back to Infinite Warfare Zombies and looking at Spaceland, where we had 4 really unique and very different Zap Guns to use. And I'm going to rank these in a slightly different order than you're expecting. We're going to start by ranking the 2 worst in my opinion, the worst one being the Face Melter, and then only slightly better, the Head Cutter. Now with the Face Melter pistol, when you shoot a zombie with this gun, they literally rocket upwards, exploding and raining fire down on the other zombies. In the later rounds, this isn't useful however, as it doesn't stop other zombies from running to you and essentially killing you. It's only effective on taking zombies on one by one. The Head Cutter, I'd only say, is slightly better because there isn't as much of a delay from you shooting to the zombies actually dying, and the way this works is when you shoot it at a zombie, their head blows off and any nearby zombies also have the same effect. In my opinion, it's a lot more effective than using the Face Melter, but it's still not quick enough in my opinion for killing the zombies. And the other 2 wonder weapons actually are going to be ranked higher than the next weapon I'm about to mention, and this is the Wolf Bow inside of the Eisendrache. Now I think this bow is definitely underrated, but out of all of them it's definitely the weakest wonder weapon bow that you can build. It's almost a bit like a thunder gun, but rather where the blast is of a radius that's quite wide, the Wolf Bow has 1 arrow shot which is very, very straight and has a very small radius, and you're going to be spamming a lot of these arrows in order to save yourself in a clutch moment. So if I've already mentioned the 2 Spaceland pistols, there's 2 left, so which are better? Well, the next one is the Discord, and then the best one is the Shredder. Now the Discord is an amazing wonder weapon. It's so hilarious how it makes zombies breakdance, and any zombies that are running towards that zombie are instantly dead. And this is quite useful because you can just keep spamming it in a certain area of the map where the zombies are running towards you, and they won't be able to get you because a dancing zombie will just be killing them. But the Shredder definitely has the most damage out of any of these wonder weapon pistols, and it is just an absolute monster. It's great for dealing with the alien, it's great for dealing with tons of zombies because it will instantly kill any zombies nearby, and it kills multiple of them too. It's just super effective. It has more ammo than the rest as well, so it's without doubt the best wonder weapon in Spaceland, and that's why we rank this one at number 31. Coming in straight after is another classic wonder weapon that we first saw in Shinonuma, and this is the Wunderwaffe Dg2 or the Wunderwaffe Dg3 Now there's absolutely nothing wrong with this wonder weapon. It is a true classic, and upgraded it can kill a full horde of 24 zombies. I just feel like since we've had the Wunderwaffe, and we've had a lot of wonder weapons since, and may I remind you 46 other wonder weapons, there's a lot that just are a lot more effective and quicker and better than the Wunderwaffe, but the Wunderwaffe boasts some great damage. It also has a lot of ammo when it's upgraded, and overall it's a great weapon. I just think there's a lot more weapons that are better. Coming in after is the Paralyzer from Buried. Now this is an absolute classic weapon, and I don't really think like I need to explain why, but we're going to do it anyway just to remind you. Now the reason that makes the Paralyzer so good is it has unlimited ammunition, but it will overheat with constant use, a bit like the jet gun, but it's not going to explode on you, thankfully. It also makes this weapon amazing is if the Paralyzer is pointed downwards and fired while you press the jump button, the player will be propelled into the air for as long as they hold down the trigger, allowing you to reach various rooftops, bypassing pathways blocked by wreckage, and it essentially allows you to fly in zombies, which is awesome. Now when this thing is Pack-a-Punch, it is the Petrifier, which features a slower overheat, allowing the weapon to be fired for about 10 seconds straight instead of the normal 6. Both versions can be cooled down when the player collects ammo drops through Vulture Aid, which is awesome as well, and is also highly beneficial should you get cornered, as it will slow down and potentially kill a horde of zombies, allowing you to make a quick escape. It's an automatic weapon with infinite ammo, and it's an absolute beast. The only way you get to high rounds on Buried is with the Paralyzer, and it's a hot classic weapon. But the weapon that comes in just slightly better is the Liquefier from Die Rise. Now this is a buildable wonder weapon, and it's made of 4 parts, and it fires an unknown purple liquid substance which creates a bubbly puddle on the floor that both the players and zombies can slip on. Now the zombies explode if they come in direct contact with the liquid when the weapon is fired, and one shot can kill every zombie in a horde of 24 as long as the blast chains those zombies. And with good luck and coordination, it's possible to kill a huge number of zombies with one shot, as a chain reaction can continuously reach more and more newly spawned zombies before the effect ends. And this is a one-shot kill until round 100 before it makes crawlers, meaning this thing has 5,500,000 damage, which is just unheard of. And in the early days of Die Rise, there was a great spawn in one of the elevators where you could kill zombies infinitely by just continuously shooting shots of the Liquefier. This thing is super overpowered, and it's just an amazing wonder weapon. Now coming in afterwards is the Wave Gun, which can also be turned into the Zap Gun dual wield, and we saw this in the map Moon. Now by default when you pick this up, the gun is found in its dual wield configuration, which is the Zap Gun dual wield, and these fire red balls of electricity that kill zombies instantly upon impact, similar to the Wunderwaffe Dg2. The only issue though is it only kills the zombies it hits. It doesn't have that chain effect like the Wunderwaffe does. And what's great is the Zap Guns are and always will be a one-shot kill to any zombie at any range. After hitting the D-pad, you can turn this thing into the Wave Gun. And this can be aimed and fires a purple beam that causes zombies caught in the blast to cough up blood, slowly expand and explode, resulting in an instant death at any round. You can pop these guys like they're popcorn in the microwave. It's so useful at high rounds due to its large mag, the ability to change fire mode, as well as its infinite damage, but it's worth noting that firing the Wave Gun at zombies from behind often does not affect them. But if you want to go for higher rounds on Moon that doesn't involve using a double pack-a-punch weapon, the wave gun is the way to go, and since it has unlimited damage, it's just a absolute beast. Alright, now here's where things are going to get very interesting. We're spicing things up now, and we're talking about some of the most beloved wonder weapons in all of zombies. So get ready, don't get too triggered, but get your comments ready if you disagree. Now, we put the wolf bow as the worst, and it's undeniable that it's definitely the weakest bow after Eisendrache, but the second weakest that I'm going to say here is going to be the fire bow. Now, this thing is really awesome, and don't get me wrong, it's a great bow, but there's just better bows to use in my opinion. But coming in slightly better is Boreas Fury, which is the Staff of Wind upgraded in Origins. Now, this thing is definitely a beast of a staff, and don't get me wrong, there's like no staff or really any bow which is absolutely useless to use, but this one functions pretty much like it does the Staff of Wind, although the Blast of the Wind has more range and a wider area of effect, and you can also hold down the fire button to charge it up at the cost of more ammo per charged shot, but it fires the initial blast of wind and then rapidly forms a tornado, attracting any zombies fairly close to it and dragging them to the center, instantly killing them, which looks amazing in my opinion, but I just don't think it's the best staff. You're going to have to wait and see for that one. But the next staff that I'm going to put, which is only slightly better in my opinion, this is definitely reflective of the Black Ops 3 version, is Yul's Arrow, which is the Staff of Ice upgraded. Now, of course, when it's upgraded, it functions the same as the normal Staff of Ice, but it has a bigger range, a wider area of effect, and you can charge it up, which releases an initial blast of ice and then expands in a circle, creating a blizzard, attracting nearby zombies and instantly freezing and killing them. For high round strategies, the Staff of Ice upgraded is definitely going to be more effective than the Staff of Wind upgraded, and this has proven that the high round strategy is to camp in the mud and use the Staff of Ice upgraded. It's just an absolute beast and has a huge effect and can last for a lot longer than the Staff of Wind, killing more zombies. But it's still not the best staff in my opinion, because when it comes to getting those clutch moments, the Staff of Ice does take a second or two for the zombies to actually get frozen and could potentially mess up your game. The next staff we're going to have on our list that's better is the Staff of Fire upgraded, which is called Gatutsuchi's Blood. I've never been able to pronounce that one very well. And just like with the Fire Bow, it's probably one of the hardest staffs to create in my opinion, and just like the original Staff of Fire, this has a bigger blast radius, and any zombie's hit point blank range will be vaporized by the fire, which is amazing. It's a very good weapon to have. And when you charge it and release it, it fires 3 fireballs horizontally like the previous version. However, any zombies nearby will be incinerated, and it will last on the floor/wall for a few seconds before it explodes into a bigger fireball. Staff of Fire against the Panzers is definitely the way to go. It's the strongest staff of all of them against the Panzers, and is truly a lifesaver, but I still don't think it's the best. And of course, there's only one left, and it's going to be the Staff of Lightning upgraded, which is called Kimat's Bite. Now, in my opinion, this thing is the best staff out of all of them. The strength, the power, the usefulness of this thing, and how long it lasts, it's definitely the most effective staff, and it's my favorite staff to use, bar the ice staff in Origins Remastered if I'm going for a high round. But if you guys would list them any differently, let me know in the comments section. This doesn't leave a lot of weapons left, but the next one, and this is going to be number 42 on the list, is the Stormbow in Der Eisendrache. Now, it's a fight between the Stormbow and the Void Bow. The Stormbow is definitely my favorite bow of all of them to use. It's so effective, it's an instant working bow, and it can kill tons. But when it comes to the Void Bow, I'm going to have to rank it as only slightly better, because the Void Bow can kill so many zombies. These things can like fly around the map and kill zombies that are not even near you. You could easily use this in a co-op game to troll your friends and kill their zombies if they're training somewhere else, because this bow is so effective. Those Apothicon Skulls will just fly around and kill any zombies anywhere on the map. It's actually pretty insane. So you're thinking, John, okay, we've done all the staffs, we've done all the bows, we've done pretty much every elemental wonder weapon that's ever been, so what could possibly be next? And that, my friends, is going to be the Blundergat, but more importantly, the Acid Gat in Mob of the Dead. When that is upgraded to the Vitrolic Withering, oh my goodness, this thing is amazing. It's a monkey bomb essentially, but it also can be killing zombies to an extremely high round. Now the only issue with the vitriolic withering is it's going to start to make crawlers at around round 20 to round 23, and this gun does inflict damage to the player, so of course you're going to have Juggernog, but if you combine this weapon with a shield and Juggernog, you're going to be going for extremely long time because this thing has a ridiculous amount of ammo and it will just keep killing the zombies all day long. And who wouldn't want to have a monkey bomb as a weapon that also can kill the zombies as well? We've had the crossbow in Kino the Totem, which when pack-a-punched works effectively as a monkey bomb, but it's not going to kill the zombies by any means, while this will do. It's amazing, it's got a lot of ammo, it's very fast to reload, it's super strong, it's just sick. But now, this is where things truly get interesting, okay? So what gun is coming next? It's been very difficult and I've had to think long and hard about this, and of course this is opinionated, so if you feel differently, please let me know why. But I'm gonna rank the Raygun Mach 3 as the next weapon here. Now the Raygun Mach 3 is without a doubt a wonderful weapon, a fantastic and very powerful weapon. Now it consists of the GKZ-45 on the left, which shoots yellow clouds of energy that slows down zombies, and the actual Raygun Mach 3 on the right, which shoots thinner versions of the Raygun's projectile shots, which do not cause splash damage and will kill the zombies. When combining them, this creates a black hole which will kill all zombies, and it's a one-hit kill to a very, very high round. But when you upgrade this, it becomes the Maelstrom of Eris, and the weapon carries 5 rounds in the GKZ-45, 30 rounds in the Mark III, and initially 210 in reserve, though it will receive 215 if you get a max ammo. Now this ray gun is amazing because not only is both guns effective, but the Mark III on its own is a one-hit kill to round 35 when it's upgraded, and the black hole is a one-shot kill until about round 40, so it's definitely a very effective weapon. If you get trapped in a corner, you can use this, you're definitely going to escape it. It's just a fantastic weapon and a very imaginative version of the original ray gun, but I just feel it's not the best one. Now that leaves only 3 weapons left, and the Mark II is going to be involved in them, so where's it going to place? Well, the next weapon we're going to be talking about is the Thunder Gun, which is an absolute classic from Call of Duty Zombies, and it is one of the best wonder weapons, period, because it's so strong. It's effectively a super gun. It will just blow the zombies away, and it's just so effective. It will save your life. It's the best way and one of the most iconic ways of taking out zombies well into the high rounds. And what makes this gun amazing is from close range, and it's a direct hit, the damage is infinite. It will always kill zombies up close, so it will always get rid of a full horde of 24. If you're shooting from a mid-range, the zombies will only be thrown backwards, however, with 0 damage, and you need to shoot them again in order to get that finished kill. This thing has 28 shots when it's fully pack-a-punch with full max ammo, and the Thunder Gun is just an iconic weapon and is amazing, and definitely one of the best wonder weapons we've ever had. But coming in at the number 2 spot, it only just slowly made its way off from number 1, but it's still an amazing wonder weapon and one of my favorites of all time. We're going to put the Raygun Mach II as the second best wonder weapon ever created. Now, it's without a doubt the best ray gun in my opinion because its damage is unbelievable. Just take a listen to this. So when it's normally on Pack-a-Punch, this thing does 2,300 damage per shot anywhere on the body. But if you shoot the zombies in the head with this thing, it deals 50,000 points of damage, making it a one-hit kill to an extremely high round even before it's pack-a-punched. Now the reason why it has this is it has a remarkable headshot damage multiplier, which is nearly a 21.7 times multiplier when a shot hits the head. And in the later rounds it's very worthwhile to headshot zombies, as this multiplier also applies to the upgraded version, the Porter's Mark II ray gun, where it deals a staggering 100,000 damage per headshot. Now this is enough to kill a zombie in one headshot until round 58, and one burst of the Raygun Mach II until round 70, though its damage will become futile in the early to mid 80s as they will take 4+ bursts in the head. This is why I'd easily rank this weapon better than the Raygun Mach III, as its damage is just undeniably better and it's just so much more useful for the much higher rounds than the Raygun Mach III would ever be. It's also the only ray gun that has a 3-round burst as its fire mode instead of it being a automatic weapon, and it only fell short to the Apothicon Servant in Black Ops 3 Zombies. This gun is just a absolute monster. This gun does infinite damage, okay? This will kill an entire horde of zombies to whatever round you're on. It will never lose damage. It is amazing. It has 10 shots from you getting it out of the box on its own with full ammo, and its maximum ammunition can be 11. And when it's upgraded into its upgraded form, if you're playing Revelations, because Jason didn't want us to pack a punch it in Shadows of Evil, it has 15 shots in total. And when it's upgraded, it has more ammo, and the black hole blast that it shoots lasts a lot longer. Now this is without a doubt the best wonder weapon we've ever seen in zombies, because no matter when you use this thing, it is going to save your life, guaranteed. There's no other weapon as strong as this, as there's no other wonder weapon that can deal this much damage forever, and for it to be as clutch as it is. It literally is the Gersh device in a gun that is as effective as a Gersh, but even better by automatically having a black hole the moment you shoot it, and it's never not an effective weapon. There's no arguments about it. This is the best wonder weapon we've ever seen in zombies, and there's never been anything more overpowered than the Apothicon Servant. And I guess Jason thought it already is so overpowered, there's no reason for us to be able to upgrade it in Shadows of Evil, because it is just too ridiculous in that map. But then they nerfed it down a little bit and let us upgrade it in Revelations, where we have this beautiful camo on it. But that's going to round up this video ranking every single wonder weapon in zombies from worst to best. If you believe that there's another weapon which you believe is better than the Apothicon Servant, let me know. But if you've made it all the way through to the end of this video, then give yourself a pat on the back, because this has not been a very quick video at all. It's just taken so long. And if you guys did enjoy it, then make sure to click that thumbs up button, as I really would appreciate it. Let's see if we can get for 10,000 likes. And I'll hopefully catch you on another zombies video very, very soon. Bye.